Alright, today I'm going to show you how to set up a Splunk server. I have two Ubuntu VMs, Splunk1 and Splunk2. Splunk1 will be our server, and then Splunk2 will essentially be our host that will forward data to our server here on Splunk1 using the universal forwarder. So the first step is going to go to Splunk.com, where you'll create an account and you'll click this free Splunk button. I'm using Ubuntu, so I'm using the Linux tar file version. So once you click download you want, you will be brought to this page where you can download via the command line. So we will copy this, and this is for the server, so we will put this in the Splunk1. And then I have the instructions down here that I will also paste into the description below, and I will skip to once this download is done. Done, you're going to want to use this command. This Splunk file will change with each version, which is why I left kind of the template down here. And then once we start that up, it'll unpack everything and download Splunk. Alright, and then we're going to change directories to Splunk bin, where we will start Splunk, and we can skip the licensing agreement by using this command. And then you'll be prompted to create a username and password for your Splunk server. I'm just going to use SplunkAdmin, and then ab12cd34, ab12cd34. Alright, and once that's done, our Splunk server is officially up and running. One more thing I'm going to do before I go to the Splunk interface is enable it for start, or enable boot start, so it boots up every time you start up this machine. So we're going to do sudo Splunk enable boot start. Oops. And then while that's finishing, what you're going to do to pull up Splunk is go to your browser, and then we will actually, let me get the IP address for this. You will go to your IP address on port 8000 to access the Splunk server. And you can do this on your local machine, by the way. Alright, so now you will log in using the username and password you just set. Alright, so this is your Splunk server. Right now we don't have any data coming in right now. So what you're going to do is go to Settings, Forwarding and Receiving under Data. And then we want to receive data from our host on Splunk2. So configure receiving, add new. And we're going to add a port for the Splunk server to listen to, so we can send the data over to it. The default is 9997, so we're just going to use that. Alright, here we are. And now we need to set up our forwarder. So basically, one thing that we can do real quick to check to make sure that Splunk is listening on that port is we can use netstat in order to check that. So what we're going to do is go back to the terminal and type in netstat. So here we can see that Splunk is listening on this port, so everything is all set. So now we can move to the forwarder. So basically it's going to be the same thing as a server. This will be the Splunk Universal Forwarder, download via command line. And then this time we're going to put this into Splunk2. And then you can copy the file name right here. And then use the same tar command. And this time we're going to change the directory to Splunk Forwarder /bin. And then start Splunk and accept the license again. For the username and password, I'm just going to use the same thing. And now we're going to add the forwarding server, so this way it adds it to our Splunk1 and forwards the data to whatever port you set. So this will be Splunk add forwarder or forward server, and then you will put the IP address for your Splunk1 server. So I will use 192.168.106.134 and then port 9997. You'll have to enter the username and password for it. Alright, and there we are. So now we are going to need to add the logs that we want to monitor and forward into Splunk. So you can do this easily by using these commands. For this example, I have the authentication logs and the sys logs that we will forward into our Splunk server. And now we are monitoring those logs. We want to make sure that, every time this machine is restarted, we want to monitor those logs again. So we're going to actually put them into our inputs.conf file. So you want to go back directory and then use this command to edit the conf file. This is the host name that will be put in the Splunk. We already monitored logs, so if you change it now, you'll still have this Ubuntu with a bunch of logs in it, and then whatever you change the host to will, or the host name will have those logs under that name after you change it now. So I'm just going to leave it the same, and you're going to want to add the following lines to this file. Alright, and then Control X to save. And then we are going to go back to the Splunk forwarder bin directory. And then we are going to restart Splunk. And then just like our Splunk server, we're going to enable boot start. Alright, and that should be everything. So if we go back to our Splunk server and go to the search and reporting, you should see that we have events now. So here we have 3,044 events. If we go to the data summary, these are the hosts, and like I said, if you changed it, you will have Ubuntu since we started monitoring the logs before changing the host name. So if you changed anything, you'll have a second one with a different number of accounts. So if we go in here, you will now see all the logs that we have ingested into Splunk, and you can tell from source where it came from. So this is authentication log. Here we have the sys log, and you can filter by these fields. You can also add fields simply by adding these: PID, process, time, index, line count, whatever. And yeah, so this will be all the logs that you ingest. You can search here for whatever, and basically choose whatever you need to. So like I said, I'll leave the instructions in the description below. Thanks for watching.